They couldn't even get tickets. Not for a final. Not for a semifinal. For a quarterfinal match featuring a player ranked outside the top 30. And that right there tells you everything about what just happened in Dubai. Because this wasn't just another breakthrough run. This was a takeover. When Alexandra Eala stepped onto the courts at the Dubai Tennis Championships, she wasn't supposed to be the main character. The spotlight was expected to fall on the usual giants, the established stars, the top seeds. But by the end of the week, tournament officials were saying something almost unheard of in modern tennis. We've never seen anything like it. And if you think that's hype, wait until you hear what this could mean for Indian Wells. Let's rewind. Coming into Dubai, the conversation wasn't about Eala. It was about withdrawals. About whether the tournament would suffer after the absence of marquee names like Aryna Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek. There were genuine concerns about star power. Would the energy dip? Would ticket sales slow down? Would the atmosphere feel flat? Instead, something completely unexpected happened. Alex Eala walked in, and the entire emotional temperature of the tournament changed. She stunned Jasmine Paolini on her way to the quarterfinals, and that match felt different from the first rally. It wasn't just competitive. It was loud. It was electric. It felt like a football stadium had been transported into a WTA event. And here's the thing people don't fully understand yet. This wasn't just support. This was cultural pride pouring into a tennis arena. The Filipino community in the UAE showed up in waves. Flags, chants, non-stop noise between points. Every winner from Eala felt like a championship moment. Every hole to serve was celebrated like match point. You could see opponents glancing into the stands, almost surprised by the intensity. When she advanced, it didn't just trend on tennis Twitter. It exploded across Filipino social media. News outlets back home covered it like a national event. Suddenly, Dubai wasn't just hosting a tennis tournament. It was hosting a movement. Tournament director Salah Tahlak didn't hide his amazement. He openly praised the impact, saying the stadium was sold out for all her matches. People were desperately trying to get tickets, and they were gone, completely gone. Think about that for a second. Quarterfinal tickets for a non-Grand Slam event, sold out, driven by a player outside the top 30. That's not normal. And when Eala eventually ran into Coco Gauff, the scoreboard read 6-0, 6-2. On paper, that looks one-sided, dominant, routine. But if you watched it, you know the atmosphere told a different story. The crowd didn't disappear. They didn't quiet down. They didn't treat it like a mismatch. They roared for every point Eala won. They tried to will momentum into existence. It felt like a Davis Cup tie squeezed into a WTA quarterfinal. And here's the bigger question. When was the last time we saw that kind of atmosphere for someone not already a Grand Slam champion? This is where it gets fascinating. Tennis has always relied on star hierarchy, rankings, titles, history. That's how fan bases traditionally build. But Eala is flipping that script. She's proving that emotional connection can sometimes move faster than ranking points. We've seen massive national followings before. Naomi Osaka ignited Japan. Emma Raducanu electrified Britain after her U.S. Open run. But what makes this different is timing. Eala hasn't won a slam. She hasn't cracked the top 10. Yet the energy feels similar. That tells me something important. This isn't just about results. It's about relatability. It's about representation. It's about a nation seeing itself on one of the biggest stages in sport. And now she's heading to the Indian Wells for her debut. Last year, Indian Wells shattered attendance records. Over 500,000 fans walked through those gates. It's already considered the fifth slam. It doesn't need saving. It doesn't need help. But imagine this scenario. Filipino fans in California. West Coast energy. A desert stadium known for dramatic night matches. And Eala riding the momentum of Dubai. This could escalate quickly. She's scheduled to face either Diana Yastremska or Bianca Andreescu in the second round. Both dangerous. Both capable of disrupting rhythm. And if she wins, a potential third-round clash with Coco Gauff again. Now that's a storyline. Because revenge arcs in sport sell themselves. Gauff handled her comfortably in Dubai. No drama on the scoreboard. But Indian Wells is a different surface. different conditions, different crowd dynamic. And this time, Eala walks in knowing she can pack a stadium. Here's what people are underestimating. When you become a draw, when fans buy tickets specifically to watch you, that changes your psychological position on tour. You're no longer just chasing. You're being chased. You're being studied. You're being prepared for differently. Opponents feel that noise. And we've already seen hints that Eala thrives on it. Her body language in Dubai wasn't overwhelmed. It wasn't nervous. It was energized. She fed off the chance. She embraced the spotlight. That's rare for a young player still building consistency. Now, let's address something honestly. Is this sustainable? That's the real curiosity gap. Because we've seen hype waves before. A breakout run. A viral week. Then things cool down. The tour moves on. The spotlight shifts. But this feels different for one key reason. Diaspora power. The Filipino global community is massive and deeply connected. When one of their own breaks through in a global sport, the support doesn't flicker. It multiplies. We saw it in boxing. We've seen it in other arenas. And now tennis is experiencing it. If Indian Wells sells out one of her early matches, and that's a real possibility, tournament organizers will start paying attention in a different way because revenue talks. Broadcasters notice viewership spikes. Sponsors notice jersey sales. Tournament directors notice secondary market ticket demand. Dubai already acknowledged it publicly. We've never seen anything like it. That statement alone is historic. Think about all the legends who have passed through Dubai. Grand Slam champions. World number ones. Yet a 19-year-old Filipina created a demographic surge so visible that officials had to comment on it. That's impact. And here's my personal take. Even if Eala loses early at Indian Wells, the effect won't disappear. The seed has already been planted. She's no longer just a promising player. She's an event. There's a difference. An event shifts schedules. An event shifts ticket sales. An event shifts atmosphere. And if she somehow makes a deep run in California, if she beats a former slam champion like Andreescu, if she pushes Gauff to 3 sets, that narrative explodes. Because then the conversation changes from great fan base to legitimate contender. That's the leap. Right now, she's straddling both worlds. Rising competitor. Cultural phenomenon. And tennis needs this. Let's be real. The WTA thrives when new markets ignite. When new fan bases feel emotionally invested. When stadiums sound different. Passion is contagious. Dubai proved that the Eala effect is real. Indian Wells might prove it's unstoppable. So here's what I want to know from you. If Eala beats Coco Gauff in a potential rematch at Indian Wells, does that officially mark the arrival of a new superstar on tour? Or do you think the hype is moving faster than the results? Drop your take in the comments because this is one of those moments we'll look back on. And remember, movements in tennis don't always begin with trophies. Sometimes they begin with noise. This is what we do at Tennis IQ. We don't just report scores. We break down the stories shaping the future of the sport. If you love deep tennis conversations, bold predictions, and real fan energy, you're exactly where you need to be.